Buying gear does not have to be that expensive if you're smart about it. Today I'm going to tell you why buying gear used is probably the best thing you can do in pro audio. Most of the stuff you see here in this studio is used. Yeah, most of it's used. My Amphions are used. Almost all of my outboard gear is used except for like the 33609, and I think that's about it. Like my lunchbox is used, the preamp is used, my interface is used, the amp, like most of this stuff is used. And if you buy things used in pro audio, it's like the best financial decision you can make, because if you're buying good equipment, number one, this is the number one, people are gonna take care of it. The people who bought high value ticket items that are worth a good amount of money and that hold their value are gonna take care of them. Like I mentioned in one of my other videos, no one's gonna buy a $3,000 compressor and take a crap on it. If you do, you need some help, man. Most normal people in this world aren't gonna be doing that. So if you see something pop up on Reverb, if you see something like on Facebook Marketplace, or honestly, literally anywhere else, if you just think about the demographic of the type of person who would buy that piece of equipment to begin with, you really shouldn't be that worried about if there's any issues with it, unless they, obviously describe immediately that there's some issues with it. Now, this isn't to say if you have the opportunity to test the gear that, don't test the gear, but at least if you're buying on places like Reverb, don't be like, it's used, I don't want used gear. Bro, who cares? In fact, the reason why it's one of the best financial decisions you can make when investing in gear is because now you bought in at what is essentially the lowest common denominator most of the time. So if the new gear price is up here and you bought it in here, if this gear appreciates over time, either because of things like the CL1B effect, if you know what I'm talking about, or the Stam Audio effect, to where you buy it at a price and then over time it goes up because the demand is so high and there's not that many pieces on the market. If you think about it like a stock, you just made money. You literally just made money. It might be unrealized until you sell it, but I recently did this, not too long ago. I had bought a compressor really cheap and I had it for years that I didn't really use it very much. Used it to get my feet wet and analog, and a buddy of mine, he was looking for that exact one. I was able to sell it at a good rate. I made money on it because I had found a really good used deal on this piece of gear. And I didn't do it with the intention of flipping it, but if you buy your pieces of gear that you want for your studio, that you plan to use for years and years to come on projects to come, it's gonna hold its value if it's a good piece of equipment. And like I said before, it'll probably even appreciate. So if you buy it used, the chance of it appreciating is higher more than the chance of it dropping in value. So almost at worst, you basically use whatever equipment you had for that extended period of time for free. I bought Adam's A7Xs as my, monitors that I had before these Amphions. I think I had gotten them for like $1,000 for the pair, sold them for $1,100. And I used them for like 7 years. So I got to use those speakers for the course of 7 years, and then on top of it, I made $100 on it. You see what I'm saying? Some of y'all's brains are starting to turn if you haven't thought about this before. The ones who have thought about this before, y'all probably all have used gear in your studios. The only caveat where this doesn't work is if you have vintage gear, but then at that point you really are treating it like an asset. However, if you're just like me and somebody just trying to buy, a piece of outboard gear, any type of equipment, really, heck, it could be an amp. Heck, guitar amps. My EVH 5150 sitting out there in the live room, it's gonna be a live room, I got that thing for like $500. This was when they were going new for it was like over $1,000. It was over $1,000 and I got it used for that price. Now I'd probably break even on it. I don't know what the value is of it now. I'd probably break even. Maybe I might even lose a bit of money, but I've had that thing for like a decade. You see what I'm saying? If you like this video, like and subscribe. Tell me your favorite gear story of just how you acquired something crazy. I love hearing how people acquire crazy gear. My friend Ryan from Make Believe, he got a freaking Sontec. It's the one with the colorful knobs. He got a Sontec from Guitar Center for like $600. That's crazy. That's insane. So if you have a crazy gear story, tell me below. I want to hear about it. But yeah, you really can get away with buying used gear and getting the most bang for your buck out of it. Sometimes the gear just doesn't exist there on the market. And if it doesn't exist there on the market, well, this is where you can get creative. You can look for other adjacent pieces of gear, unless it's like you just need that one piece. Well, you might have to buy it new in that case. That's what I had to do with my 33-609 from Stam, because there wasn't any of the Mark IIs on the market yet. It was just the Mark Is. And the Mark Is were more expensive than the Mark II pre-orders because of the fact that Stam, they take a while to make your dang gear. That one took almost, it feels like it was like almost 3 years or something. It took forever. It was terrible, but I got it. I did get it. It's great, sounds amazing, love it, it lives on every mix. But those are one of those, you know, weird scenarios to where it actually might make sense to buy new if you're willing to wait, to where the used one actually costs more. I was just thinking about this, and it's kind of like a financial literacy, the way you see money, the way you see assets, the way you see your equipment in your studio. If your buying practices reflect good financial management, I think that's a really important thing. And it can start somewhere just as simple as, you know, being like, do I need to buy a brand new piece of gear, or can I try to find this used? Can I be resourceful? Can I cut back on my expenses by a couple $100 by literally just not buying the gear new? Like, how much money I've spent in this studio from buying used is crazy. Bro, that Apollo back there, I'm just gonna go through all the gear stories at this point. That Apollo, I got that thing for like $1,200, and that's the Thunderbolt Blackface, and I got that for $1,200 when it was new for $2 grand. Yeah, hey, before we move on, channel members get direct access to me with a free complimentary one-on-one coaching call, which is normally $75, and an exclusive members-only playlist that has live stream mixes, real-world client scenarios, and priority replies to your comments. If you're interested, click join below. It's only $9.99 a month, and it basically pays for itself. I look forward to seeing you in there. Let's dive back in. My Amphion Power Amp. Funny story about that one. Shout out to Alto Music, because I had bought the Amp 100. They weren't gonna ship it. They're like, yo, our inventory was messed up. We actually don't have the Amp 100, but we have this Amp 700, even though we took your money and fulfilled the order. So we're just gonna give you the Amp 700 in place of the Amp 100. And they're like, we hope that's okay. And in my mind, I'm just like, that's sick. The Amp 100, man, at the time, I think it was like $700, $800. The Amp 700 is like 2K. So I basically got a $2,000 power amp for $700. I'm saying, dude, buy used gear. Don't buy crappy used gear. If you're buying some used Behringer gear, I would be weary. I would be pretty weary. Unless it's like the Behringer Wing console, because those are, Behringer's been getting better. They've been getting better about some stuff. You know, no super hate to Behringer, but if you are buying some lower tier gear, some lower tier hardware, something that isn't as robust, chances are, you know, people who might not be good stewards of their equipment could have had that in their hands, and it could be a little funky. Those are the only times I would caution against used gear, but at that point, you'll kind of have to, you know, pick and choose. Do I want the convenience of buying it now? Do I want to take the risk on it, buying it used from somebody else, and then maybe they didn't take care of it? But all of that almost goes away when you're buying really good high ticket items, really nice pieces that basically only the pros are gonna have, because it's gonna be treated and handled by a pro, and it's gonna be taken care of and babied just as you probably would baby your piece of gear. So save money, be wise with your financial decisions here in your studio. Like and subscribe. As always, appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.